Good morning, all of you. Today we are going to start a new lesson that is from your first flight book, and it is the 100 Dresses Part 1. As you know, we have two lessons with the same name, Part 1 and Part 2. Okay, in the first part, we will cover some of the story, and after that, in the second part, we will conclude it. Okay, as you can see, it is written by Elsa Easter. She is an American writer. Okay, now we are going to start it. Before you read, there are some clues about the lesson. How do we judge the people around us? By their money, wealth, and possessions? Or is there something of more enduring value to look in a person? Okay, there are different ways to judge a person around us. Like sometimes we judge a person by the money, sometimes wealth and possessions. Okay, but the writer is asking a question, that is there something else like enduring the important values by which we can judge a person? That is the question. Okay, this story is a sensitive account of how a poor young girl is judged by her classmates. Wanda Petronsky is a young Polish girl who goes to school with other American children in an American town. These other children see Wanda as different in many ways. Can you guess how they treat her? Okay, now there is an important character. Her name is Wanda Petronsky, and she is a young Polish girl. Polish means a person who used to speak the Polish language, okay, and who used to live in Poland, a person from Poland. But there is a historical account there, as you can see. Poland is a country which was formed in 1918. Okay, and this story is of before 1918. Are you getting it? That is why some Polish speaking people migrated to America. Okay, and the first immigration was happened in 1608, and after that it was regularly happened that the Polish speaking people used to go to America to live there. Okay, but sometime they were discriminated there because of their caste, sorry, because of their race. Okay, and Wanda Petronsky was one of them who was also discriminated in their school. But what were the ways by which she was discriminated in that school? We will try to find out. Okay, as we have known that Wanda Petronsky is a girl who used to speak a Polish language, and she used to live in America this time. Okay, she has migrated from Poland. That time Poland was not formed as a country. Okay, now there is some information about this Poland and American Poland or American Polish. Read the information in the box below. Find out more about this community or about the related topic from an encyclopedia or the internet. Okay, there's an account of information about this lesson. This is the background of the lesson. The first Polish immigrants arrived in America in 1608, but the largest wave of Polish immigration occurred in the early 20th century. Okay, I think all of you knows about the 20th century. What is the time period of 20th century? It will be 900 to 2000, sorry, 1900 to 2000. Okay, this period will be called 20th century. You have already studied that in your SST classes also. So this time we are studying that the first Polish immigrants arrived in America in 1608, means a person who was living in the area Poland were called Polish. Okay, when they arrived in America, that time they were called Polish Americans. Okay, now we will study it more. The largest wave of Polish immigration in the early 20th century, when more than 1 million Poles immigrated to United States. Okay, the first immigration was happened in 1608. But in earliest 20th century, okay, the earlier 20th century, that was the time when the around 1 million Polish people are called Poles. Okay, so around 1 million people migrated to United States. Okay, the Polish state did not exist at that time, and the immigrants were identified according to their country of origin rather than the ethnicity. Okay, means this time, as I have already told you, that Poland was formed as a country in 1918, and this lesson is written around 1910, means early 20th century. Okay, so what happened, they don't have their original country. Okay, so means the Polish, the person who used to speak Polish language, they don't have a country, they don't have a proper country. That is why they were not known as a person from the Poland. And there are some examples also, you can see they were identified as Russian Poles. Means if someone is migrated from Russia to America, that was called Russian Poles, German Poles, and Austrian Poles, because Poland was not a country this time. Okay, that is why they used to known about with their we can say that origin. Okay, with their origin means that from where they are coming. Okay, now we will move next. Once the most notable Polish American communities, just a minute, one of the most notable Polish American communities in the Chicago is in the Chicago and its suburban. So Chicago is sometimes called the second largest Polish city in the world, next only Warsaw, the capital of Poland. Okay, as you know that the Chicago city and its suburban, okay, means nearby places. Okay, means Chicago city and its nearby places is the most populated city with Polish American. Okay, means the Polish American communities used to live there, and it is the second largest city where the Polish American used to live after the Warsaw. Warsaw is the capital of Poland. Okay, Polish American were sometimes discriminated against in the United States, as were the Irish, Italians, and Jews. Okay, as I have already told you that the Polish Americans means the person who are migrated from Poland to America. They were called Polish Americans. They were discriminated there against. Uh, they were discriminated there in United States, like the Irish people, Italian, and Jews. Means these were also discriminated, and the Polish Americans were also discriminated in America, United States of America. Okay, I think you have understood that what is this lesson all about. There is a girl, Wanda Petronsky. She was migrated to America, United States from Poland. Okay, and in United States, people used to discriminate on uh, their race. Okay, there were also racial discrimination, and they were called Polish American. Okay, so Wanda Petronsky was also a Polish American. Okay, now there is some statistics, but these are not important, but we will study it. According to the United States 2000 census, 66 lakh 74, just a minute, 6 lakh 67,414 Americans of age 5 years and older reported Polish as the language spoken at home, which is about 1.4% of the other people who speak language other than English, or 0.25% of the US population. Okay, now we will move next. There's a story starting now. At first, this story is starting from Monday. Okay, today, Monday, Wanda Petronsky was not in her seat, but nobody, not even Peggy and Madeline. Okay, at first we have discussed that Wanda Petronsky is a girl. She's a Polish girl. She is migrated from Poland and she is currently living in America. Okay, so and that is the one character, and after that there are some other characters like Peggy and Madeline. These are two important characters. The nickname of Madeline is Maddie. Okay, Peggy and Maddie. These are the classmates of Wanda Petronsky. Okay, have you understood? Means Wanda Petronsky, Peggy, and Madeline are the classmates. Okay, now this was the time of Monday, and Wanda Petronsky was not in her seat. But nobody, not sorry, not even Peggy and Madeline, the girls who started all the fun, noticed her absence. Means it was the time of Monday and nobody noticed that Wanda Petronsky was absent that day. Even Maggie and Paddy also not noticed that Wanda is absent. And they have started all the fun, means they started a fun there, we will discuss about later. Now next one, just a minute. Yes, usually Wanda sat in the seat next to the last seat in the last row in room number 13. Okay, you have to keep in mind that their classroom number was room number 13 and she used to sit in the next to the last seat. Okay, have you got that? Means he was sitting in the second last seat, we can say that. Okay, she used to sit next to the last seat in the last row in room number 13. Okay, she sat in the corner of the room where the rough boys who did not make good marks sat, the corner of the room where there was most scuffling of feet, most roars of laughter when anything funny was said, and most mud and dirt on the floor. Means Wanda Petronsky used to sit at second last seat of the corner of room number 13, and this was the place where the most rough boys used to sit there. Rough means violent. Okay, the student who doesn't get good marks in the examination. Okay, and that was the place where the scuffling of feet, means noisy dragging feet sound, was always there at the second last seat at the corner. Okay, most roars of laughters also, means the students used to laugh very loudly in that corner. Means you can understand, you have already seen in your classes also that the second last or last, the cornered seats. Okay, mostly the students who doesn't get good marks in the examination and they don't want to study properly, that kind of student used to sit in these corners. Okay, but Wanda Petronsky was also sitting there. Okay, now we will move next. Wanda did not sit there because she was rough and noisy. On the contrary, she was very quiet and rarely said anything at all. And nobody had ever heard her laugh out loud. Sometimes she twisted her mouth into a crooked sort of smile, but that was all. Okay, Wanda was not a girl, what was not a rough and noisy girl, means she was very quiet. Okay, and she doesn't talk too much. Okay, and even nobody has ever heard her laugh out. Okay, means she was very quiet and she doesn't used to talk too much to other students. Okay, and sometimes she used to smile. Okay, a fake smile, we can say, a crooked sort of smile, means sometimes she used to smile and that was a fake smile, but that was all. She doesn't used to talk too much. Okay, now we will move next. Nobody knew exactly why Wanda sat in that seat, unless it was because she came all the way from Boggins Heights and her feet were usually caked with dry mud. But no one really thought much about Wanda Petronsky once she sat in the corner of the room. Okay, in the first one, we have just a minute. In this one, okay, before this one, we have studied that Wanda Petronsky is a Polish girl. She used to second last, we can say second last, and the corner seat in the room number 13, where the most noisy students are used to sit. But no one knows what is the exact reason why Wanda Petronsky was sitting there. Okay, and there is a reason behind that, that she used to come from Bogin site. Okay, Bogin sites is a name of place where Wanda Petronsky used to live. Means the house of Wanda Petronsky is located in Bogin's house. Okay, so when she used to come from there, means that house was in distance from the school. Okay, that is why she used to come to the school in on feet. Okay, she used to come to the school on feet, and the path was very muddy. Okay, that is why her shoes and her feet were also muddy. They were also usually caked with dry mud. Okay, that is why she used to go and sit in the last corner of the seat. Okay, now next one, the time when they thought about Wanda was outside of school hours. At noon time, when they were coming back to school, or in the morning early before school began, when groups of two or three or even more would be talking and laughing on their way to the school yard. Means when the Wanda Petronsky used to sit in the class, no one used to notice her. Okay, but when in the afternoon, means after the school or before the school, when Vanda Petronsky used to come towards the school or go towards the home, that time the other students, sometimes two, sometimes three, and sometimes three and more, okay, they used to talk with Vanda Petronsky. Okay, now next one, then sometimes they waited for Vanda to have fun with her. Okay, and some students, okay, they used to wait for Wanda Petronsky to have some fun with her. Okay, actually the students used to make fun of her, that is why they used to wait for her after the school or before the school. Okay, now next one, I think that one was done. Okay, now the second one, the next day, Tuesday, Wanda was not in school either, and nobody noticed her absence again. Okay, and the first day was Monday, as you know, and that day she was absent and no one noticed. Okay, and after that again there was Tuesday, and that day no one also noticed. Now what happens on Wednesday? But on Wednesday, Peggy and Maddie. I have already told you that Maddie is the nickname of Madeline. Okay, so on Wednesday, Peggy and Maddie, who sat down front with other children who got good marks and who did not trek in a whole lot of mud, did notice that Wanda wasn't there. Okay, and it was the time of Wednesday when Peggy and Maddie, these are the two decent girls who used to sit in front seats. That is why they don't go back towards the corner where the muddy area was there. Okay, because the violent and noisy student used to sit there, and they don't want uh, to make their class neat and clean. Okay, but these two girls were very decent, and they used to sit in the front seats. Okay, now what happens next? Peggy was the most popular girl in school. Okay, she was very pretty, and she had many pretty clothes, and her hair was curly. Okay, this is the description about Peggy. Have you understood that? These are also classmates of Wanda Petronsky, but unlike Wanda Petronsky, they used to sit in the front seat and they don't have to go to the noisy place, means at last of the class. Okay, now there is a short description about Maddie. Maddie was her closest friend. The reason Peggy and Maggie noticed Wanda's absence was because Wanda had made them late for the school. Okay, means this time I think they would not notice that Wanda has come to the school or not. This time they became late because of Wanda Petronsky, because they were waiting for her before the school time, because they was thinking that they will wait for Wanda Petronsky and they will make fun of her. That is why they were waiting for Wanda Petronsky before starting the school. Okay. Now next. Just a minute. They had waited and waited for Wanda to have some fun with her, and she just had not come. They often waited for Wanda Petronsky to have fun with her. As I have already told you that students like Peggy and Maggie, they used to wait for Wanda Petronsky before starting the school or after completing the school, because they used to make fun of her. That is why on Wednesday they were also waiting for Wanda Petronsky, but Wanda Petronsky did not come that day also, and they became late because of Wanda. Okay, that was the first part of the story, and there are some comprehension questions. You will do that. Okay, now next one. This is the second part. Wanda Petronsky, most of the children in the room 13 did not have names like that. They had names easy to say like Thomas, Smith, or Alan. There was a boy named Bounce Willie Bounce, and people thought that was funny, but not funny in the same way that Wanda Petronsky was. Okay, Wanda Petronsky, and there was no other children in room number 13 who has a strange name like this. Okay, and there were boys like Thomas, Smith, Allen, but there was not any name like Wanda Petronsky. It was a quite strange name. Okay, there was a boy whose name was Bounce Willie Bounce, and students thought that it was a funny name, but it was not funny enough like Wanda Petronsky. Okay, now next one, just a minute. This one. Wanda did not have any friends. She came to school alone and went home alone. She always wore a faded blue dress that did not hang right. It was clean, but it looked as though it had never been ironed properly. She did not have any friends, but a lot of girls talked to her. Sometimes they surrounded her in the schoolyard as she stood watching the little girls play hopscotch on the one hard ground. Okay, as you know that Wanda Petronsky did not have any friends in the school. She came to school alone and she used to go to school alone. And she used to wear a faded blue color dress, okay, which also not properly fit to her body. Okay, it was clean, the dress was clean, okay, but it looked like that it was not ironed, means it was not pressed properly, right? And as you know that she didn't have any friend, but lots of people used to talk with her. Okay, sometimes the students surrounded her. Sometimes students used to surround her, and after that they used to talk her. Okay, and as I have already told you that the students used to surround her only to make fun of her. Okay, and Wanda Petronsky sometimes used to watch the game of hopscotch. Okay, it is a name of game. You can search in YouTube or internet also. It is a name of game, hopscotch. But Wanda Petronsky used to watch the game of some small girls who used to play hopscotch in the Vaughan ground. Okay, Vaughan Hart ground. Now next one, just a minute. Wanda, Peggy would say in most courteous manner, as though she were talking to Miss Mason. Okay, there is an important character. The next one, Miss Mason. Miss Mason is their class teacher. Okay, so the Peggy is telling to Wanda like that she was calling her Wanda, and she was calling that very politely. Okay, but that was not polite enough. That was nudging, means इसको हम चिढ़ाना बोलते हैं किसी को. ठीक है. So Peggy used to say her Wanda in a very courteous manner, like she was talking to her class teacher. Okay, Wanda, she would say, giving one of her friend a nudge. Nudge means a gentle push. Okay, tell us how many dresses did you say you had hanging up in your closet. Okay, that was the game we were talking about in the starting of the lesson. Okay, the Peggy always used to ask a question to Wanda Petronsky that how many dresses she had, and she had managed that, she had tied that in their closet. Okay, now we will try to find out what answer Wanda Petronsky give to Peggy. Okay, as you can see in the picture, this is Wanda Petronsky. Okay, I think this could be Peggy, and one of them, this one or this one, will be Maddie or Madeline. Okay, now next one. In the last paragraph, we have seen that Peggy asked her or asked Wanda Petronsky that how many dresses she has in her closet. Okay, so this time she is answering that 100. Wanda Petronsky says, I have 100 dresses in my closet. And as you know, in this paragraph, look at this paragraph. Just a minute. Look at this paragraph. Try to understand this one. She always wore a faded blue dress, okay, which was also not ironed properly. But this time she is telling that she has 100 dresses. Okay, that was not the correct answer, means that was a false. Okay, she was lying, means there's a story behind that. How she is lying or not, there is a mystery behind that. We will try to find out. Okay, so she used to answer that she has 100 dresses. Then this time in explanation, Peggy is saying 100, exclaimed all the little girls incredulously, and the little ones would stop playing hopscotch and listen. Means incredulously means not believingly. Okay, they were exclaimed that Wanda Petronsky has 100 dresses. Then Wanda is saying this, yeah, 100, all lined up. Okay, she is telling that I have 100 dresses and all are lined up. Then her thin lips drew together in silence. Then Peggy is asking to her, what are they like? All silk, I bet. And Peggy is saying that how they look like. I think all of them will be of silk. I can bet that. Then Wanda is saying that, yeah, all silk, all colors. Then Peggy is asking to her, velvet too? They are also made of velvet. Velvet means furry. Okay. Then Wanda is answering, yeah, velvet too. 100 dresses. Wanda would repeat stolidly, all lined up in my closet. As you can see, stolidly means not showing any feeling, means without showing any feelings. He is saying that, yeah, there are some velvet dresses too, and 100 dresses, and all are lined up in my closet. Okay, now next one. Then they would let her go, and then before she would gone very far, they could not help bursting into shrieks and peals of laughter. Okay, then at this time they let her go from this place, means the other student Peggy and Maddie let her go from this place, and it was not too far that Wanda Petronsky gone. They used to laugh very loudly, okay, because they were making fun of her. They also knows that she doesn't have 100 dresses. Okay, if she would have 100 dresses, she would wear the different ones. She would not wear the single one, the blue faded dress in the school. Okay, now next one. 100 dresses, obviously the only dress Wanda had was the blue, and she wore every day. So why did she say she had 100? What a story. Okay, this is the question, that why she was telling that she had 100 dresses. Even she was wearing the same dress, the same blue faded dress every day in the school. Okay, how many shoes did you say you had? Then Peggy again nudging her, and she is also making fun of her. She is asking to her that how many shoes did you say you had? 60 pairs, all lined up in my closet. Wanda Petronsky is saying that she had 60 pairs of shoes, okay, and all are lined up in the closet. Then the next one, cries in exaggeration. Politeness greeted this all alike, means exaggeration. I have already told you that if something is described beyond its quality, that is also a figure of speech, that is exaggeration. Okay, this time after listening that exaggeration, see the Peggy was asking her very politely that all alike, means all the 60 pairs of shoes are same. Okay, then this time Wanda Petronsky is replying to her question that, oh no, every pair is different, all colors, all lined up. Okay, now next one. This is an interesting story. Peggy, who had thought up this game, and Maddie, her inseparable friend, were always the last to leave. Okay. Finally, Wanda would move up the street, her eyes dull and her mouth closed, hitching her left shoulder every now and then in the funny way she had finishing the walk to the school alone. Okay, after happening all these things, now after playing the game, or after made fun by other people or other classmate, finally Wanda Petronsky moved from this place, and her eyes are very dull, as you can understand the feeling that she hadn't any friend in that school, and the other students used to make fun of her. Suppose that if that will happen to you, then what kind of feeling you have? That is the same thing Wanda Petronsky was feeling. Her eyes were dull and her mouth was closed and her shoulders were bent. Okay, this was hitching, and she was moving in a funny way when she used to move, and that looks very funny. Okay, and she was always alone, I have already told you. Now look at this one. This is about the character of Peggy. Okay, Peggy was not really cruel. She protected small children from bullies. Okay, and she cried for hours if saw if she saw an animal mistreated. Means if she saw someone or some animal are being mistreated, and she used to cry for hours, means she was not cruel. But the question arises in the mind that why she was doing that with Wanda Petronsky, why she always used to make fun of her. Okay, we will try to understand why she used to do that. If anybody had said to her, don't you think that is a cruel way to treat Wanda, she would have been very surprised. Cruel? Why did the girl say she had 100 dresses? Anybody could tell that was a, could tell that that was a lie. Why did she want to lie and she wasn't just an ordinary person, else why did she have a name like that? Anyway, they never made her cry. So when someone asked to Peggy that why she is so cruel to Wanda Petronsky, this time she said in surprise, she used to say in surprise that cruel, I am not cruel with her. Okay, why that girl is saying, Peggy is saying to the other girls that why that girl is saying that she has 100 dresses, why she is lying, everyone knows that she is lying, and why that girl has a strange name like Wanda Petronsky. Okay, and at last he is also she also used to say to the other classmate that anyway they never made her cry. Okay, means she is giving the answer of that question that why she is cruel to Wanda Petronsky. She is telling that I am not cruel to her, I am just asking that question that why that girls used to say that she had 100 dresses. That was a lie, and she had a why she had a strange name like Wanda Petronsky. That is quite different. Okay, now next one. As for Maddie, this business for asking Wanda every day how many dresses and how many hats and how many this and that she had was bothering her. Maddie was poor herself. She usually wore somebody's hand over clothes. Thank goodness she did not live up on boggin sides or have a funny name. Okay, as we have already discussed about Maddie, there is some other detail about Maddie that as for Maddie, this business of asking Wanda every day how many dresses and how many this and that was bothering for her. Means she also didn't want to ask that kind of question. She also didn't want to make fun of her. Okay, but why she was doing? Because she was also poor. Means Wanda Petronsky, we have already known that she was a poor girl. Okay, that Maddie was also a poor girl. Okay, she usually wore somebody's hand over clothes. Hand me over clothes. Hand me over clothes means old clothes or used clothes. Okay, used by someone and given to the other. Means Maddie was also a poor girl. She used to wear the clothes which was already worn by other people. Okay, she was also poor. She was also don't like to make fun of her, make fun of Wanda Petronsky. Now we will try to understand that sometimes when Peggy was asking Wanda those questions in that mocking polite voice, Maddie felt embarrassed and studied the marbles in the palm of her hand, rolling them around and saying nothing herself. When sometimes Peggy asked these questions, means when Peggy used to make fun of her, make fun of Wanda Petronsky. This time, Maddie also felt very embarrassed. Okay, as I've already told you that she was also a poor girl. So she also was feeling very embarrassed this time. Okay, and that time she used to study the marbles on her hand, means she used to do just looking at the palm and other things, means she was also feeling very embarrassment. Okay, not that she felt sorry for Wanda exactly. She would never have paid any attention to Wanda if Peggy had not invented the dresses game. Means if Peggy have not invented the game of dresses, the game of 100 dresses, the question she always used to ask to Wanda Petronsky, Maddie would never gone into the game. There was only one reason why Maggie was in that game, why Maddie was in that game, because of only Peggy, because she was her best friend. Okay, now next one. But suppose Peggy and all others started in on her next. She wasn't a poor as Wanda, perhaps, but she was poor. Of course, she would have more sense than to say she had 100 dresses. Still, she would not like for them to begin on her. She wished Peggy would stop teasing Wanda Petronsky. Okay, but this time when Peggy used to make fun of Wanda Petronsky, this time Maddie was feeling very embarrassed. But this time she was thinking that she could be the next girl. If she would not be at the side of Peggy, then Peggy and other classmates will make fun of Maddie also if she would not be her friend. Okay, even she was not poor like Wanda Petronsky, but she used to wear the hand me over dresses of other people. Okay, and the other people would also make fun of her poorness. Okay, that is why Wanda Petronsky, sorry, the Maddie was always with Peggy, that she will if she will not give support to that girl, if she will not give support to Peggy, then Peggy and other classmates will also make fun of Maddie. That is why Maddie was with Peggy always. Okay, she always used to wish that Peggy should not make fun of Wanda Petronics. Okay, so there are some comprehensional questions for you. You will write down it in your notebook. Okay, it is quite long chapter, so it is already 41 minutes now. So we are going to end this video here, and tomorrow we will record the next part of the video and I will send to you. Okay, now it is enough for today, and the next part will be shared to you tomorrow.